At 82, I thought I had life all figured out. But there's one decision that still haunts me to this day: the choice to move into a nursing home. Back then, it all sounded reasonable. My family said it would be safe, comfortable, and that I'd be well taken care of. I believed them. I truly thought I was choosing the easiest path for my old age. But just a few weeks in, I realized the truth was far from what I imagined. I'm not sharing this to complain. I'm sharing it because I know so many people out there are facing the same choice. Maybe you're considering it for yourself or for someone you love. And maybe you think it's the best, safest option. But before you make that final decision, I ask you, please hear my story. There are 6 things I wish someone had told me before I stepped into that nursing home. 6 things no one ever talks about, but they could completely change the way you see what's supposed to be a peaceful final chapter. Because life in a nursing home isn't just about convenience, it's a trade-off. Stick with me through the end of this video. Sometimes one timely warning can save someone's entire future. Regret number 1: losing my independence. The biggest shock after moving into the nursing home wasn't the small room, the fixed meal times, or even the unfamiliar faces. It was realizing that I had lost control over my own life. Before I moved in, I had my own routine. I could take a walk whenever I wanted, cook a simple meal, or just sit quietly in my favorite chair with a book. But inside the nursing home, I quickly learned that my time no longer belonged to me. Everything runs on a schedule, but it's not yours. Breakfast is served at a set time, even if you're not hungry. Lights go out at a certain hour, whether you're ready to sleep or not. Want to go for a walk outside? You might have to ask for permission and wait until someone's available to assist you. Simple decisions like what to eat or even what to wear start to feel less like choices and more like privileges. I still remember my first week there. I woke up in a bed that didn't feel like mine. I sat up, stretched, and reached for the book I had been reading at home. But as I looked around, it hit me this wasn't my home. The books, the favorite chair, the little comforts I'd spent years collecting, they were gone. Replaced by sterile walls, a bed I never chose, and a feeling I couldn't shake. I wasn't in charge of my life anymore. You adapt because you have to. You stop pushing back when they tell you what's for dinner. You stop asking if you can go for a walk. You learn to fit into their system. But in doing that, you start to lose pieces of yourself. If you're considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself this: are you ready to give up the small freedoms that made your life truly yours? Because once they're gone, you may miss them more than you ever imagined. Regret number 2: feeling forgotten. When I moved into the nursing home, I truly believed I'd stay connected to my old life, my family, my grandchildren, the people I love. And at first, it felt like I would. My family reassured me they'd visit often. I believed them. And honestly, in the beginning, they did keep their word. My daughter came by every week. The grandkids would stop in on weekends. In those moments, I still felt like I belonged to them. But then time passed quietly. Life got busy. Everyone got swept up in their own routines. The visits became less frequent. My daughter started calling instead of coming. And the grandkids? They got caught up in school, work, and a world I was no longer part of. Holidays, once filled with warmth and togetherness, slowly became the loneliest days of the year. Everyone said they'd come by, but somehow plans always changed at the last minute. It wasn't that they stopped loving me. I know that love is still there, but when you're not around, it's easy for people to assume you're doing fine, that you've settled in, that you don't need them like you used to. But the truth is far from that. The longer I stayed here, the more I felt like a fading memory in the minds of the people I care about most. Not because they meant to forget, but because their world kept moving and I just wasn't in it anymore. I remember one evening, sitting quietly in my room with my phone in hand. I thought about calling my son. My finger hovered over the screen, but I hesitated. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to make him feel guilty or remind him that I was still here, still waiting for a visit that might never come. So I put the phone down, and in that moment, I understood. This is my life now. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself this: are you truly ready to face that kind of loneliness? Because no matter how much your family loves you, Once you're out of sight, it's easier to be forgotten than you'd ever expect. Regret number 3, losing my sense of purpose. I used to think that moving into a nursing home was just about changing where I lived. But it turns out I unknowingly gave up something far more important, my reason to keep going. Back home, I had my routines, little tasks that gave my days meaning and reminded me I still mattered. I watered the plants every morning, made my coffee just the way I liked it, folded the blanket I slept with, wiped down the kitchen counter, rearranged books on the shelf. It may sound small, but to me, it meant I was still in control of my life. When I moved in, I thought, finally, I get to rest. No more cooking, no more cleaning, everything taken care of. But then, each day started feeling the same, and there was nothing left to do except wait. I looked around and I saw it in others too, people who once lived with passion. Engineers, teachers, seamstresses, farmers. Now they just sat there, silent, staring into space, as if counting down the minutes. I remember a man named George. He was 84, carpenter his whole life. At home, he always had something to fix or build. His garage was his creative kingdom. But here, I watched him slowly fade, not physically, but spiritually. The same strong, capable hands now rested quietly in his lap. When you have nothing left to care for, nothing left to aim for, life starts to disappear. Your mind slows down, your body stops responding, and you become just another quiet presence in a room where every day feels exactly the same. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself honestly, what is it that still gives your life meaning? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Because here, no one gives you that. And finding a sense of purpose in a place designed solely for rest, that's not easy. Regret number 4, my health declined faster than I expected. Before moving into a nursing home, I was in pretty decent shape for my age. I wasn't running marathons, but I could take care of myself going for walks, cooking, doing light exercise every day. Little habits like grocery shopping, stretching in the morning, or just walking around the house helped me stay active. But then everything changed. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was just giving myself a break. Meals were delivered, no more cooking or cleaning. Just press a button and someone would come help. It sounded convenient, but that convenience slowly made me weaker. I moved less. I sat more. Soon, even standing up from a chair became a struggle. The muscle I had worked to maintain started disappearing within months. And it wasn't just me, I saw it happening to others too. People who used to walk on their own were now in wheelchairs. I remember Alice, my 81-year-old neighbor. When she first arrived, she was full of energy. She walked every day and always said, "Age is just a number." But then she started walking less, switched to a walker, then a wheelchair. One day she told me, "I don't even know when it happened, but I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." And I knew exactly what she meant. When you stop using your body, you start losing it. And in a place where everything is designed to make life easier, it's far too easy to forget that movement isn't just for convenience, it's essential for survival. So if you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, will you still have the motivation to keep your body strong when everything around you encourages you to slow down? Because once you do slow down, getting back up won't be as easy as it used to be. If you're still watching this and found any of it valuable, drop a number 4 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs and inspires. Regret number 5, losing my privacy and dignity. No one warned me that the first thing I'd lose when I moved into a nursing home wasn't my space, it was myself. At home, I had my own world. I could shut the door, play my favorite music, and read for hours without anyone bothering me. Everything was mine, from my familiar chair to the tiny routines that made up my day. But the moment I entered the nursing home, I realized privacy was no longer a given. From day one, I felt like a shadow in a space where everything was controlled. Staff came in and out of my room without notice. In shared rooms, true alone time became a rare luxury. Want to get dressed? Wait for someone to help you. Need to use the bathroom? Press the call button and hope they're not too busy. Want a shower? Get in line and wait your turn. Everything I once owned, my choices, my freedom, my sense of control slowly drained away. I was lucky to have a decent roommate, but not everyone's that fortunate. I've heard the sighs at night, the quiet frustration of people forced to share space with someone who's noisy, unclean, or no longer fully aware of their surroundings. Sure, you can decorate your room, hang up family photos, or line the shelf with old books, but deep down, you know this place isn't home. What hurt the most wasn't giving up my favorite chair or not getting to eat what I like. It was the feeling of being treated like a patient instead of a person. Day by day, you stop recognizing yourself in the mirror. You only see someone living by someone else's schedule. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself this. Are you truly ready to give up the privacy and dignity you've spent a lifetime building? Because once it's gone, you'll find it's not so easy to get back. Regret number 6. Realizing leaving is harder than you think. When I first moved into the nursing home, I told myself it was temporary. Just a trial. I'd see how it went, and if it didn't feel right, I'd go back home. At first, it seemed simple. If I didn't like it, I'd return to my old house. But the house wasn't the same anymore. It felt empty, cold, and hard to maintain from a distance. My kids had started changing things, selling off familiar items, even thinking about renting it out. When I said I wanted to move back, they hesitated. Are you sure you can manage on your own? Isn't it safer here? We just want what's best for you. That's when I started doubting myself. After months of not cooking, not cleaning, barely going anywhere, my body had changed. The independence I used to be so proud of, I wasn't sure I still had it, and that fear held me back. I met others in the same boat. They came in thinking they'd stay a while, just a short break. But time passed and leaving became harder. Some lost their homes. Some burned through their savings. And in the end, there was nowhere to return to. No one tells you that once you enter a nursing home, going back to your old life becomes almost impossible. The facility becomes your whole world. And the world outside the one you used to know fades into a distant memory. So if you're thinking about making this move, ask yourself, are you truly ready for the possibility that once you enter, leaving may not be so simple? Because once you settle in, the barriers, financial, physical, emotional, can quietly trap you in place before you even realize it. Looking back, I don't regret growing old, but I do regret believing that a nursing home was my only option. I moved in expecting comfort, safety, and a better quality of life. Instead, I found a world that slowly stripped away my sense of purpose and even my sense of self. Now, don't get me wrong, some people truly need the level of care a nursing home provides. But before you make that decision, think carefully about what you're giving up. Because once you move in, life is never quite the same. If I could do it over, I would fight harder to stay in my own home. I would explore more ways to get support without giving up my freedom. And I'd make sure I truly needed to be there before making such a permanent move. If you're facing this decision, I hope you take the time to ask yourself, is this really what's best for me, or just what feels easiest right now? Because the life you have today is worth holding on to for as long as you possibly can. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share something you took away from this video. Your voice truly matters to us, so don't be shy. Reading your comments gives us motivation and encouragement to keep going. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs, uplifts, and inspires. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.